Howdy, howdy. We are live on a Monday night, and I am very happy to be with my dear friend Starfleet Sohail, who
Hey,
who
Fatheree.
I understand you have some questions for me.
Every year.
Yeah, but it was another year of the Star Trek cruise, so I'm excited to be here talking about it with you. I gotta mute myself because I have the video playing somewhere, so I'm like hearing myself talk as I'm talking to you.
Oh, that's funny.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, you got to find it.
Yeah, talk
While
for
you find
talk
that,
for a little bit.
so this is like the fourth time that or third or fourth time that we've done this kind of recap after the cruise. But how many cruises have you been on now?
This is number 4 for me.
Oh, okay. So maybe I've only done it 3 times because I don't know if I did the first cruise with you, but it's always a lot of fun. And this cruise, while I was watching the social media coverage of it, seems like probably the best one. Would you agree? Oh, you're on mute though. So we don't... Okay, we're gonna wait for Father to come back. In the meantime,
I'm back.
welcome,
I'm back.
Father.
Sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, the it was I don't know if I would say it was like the best, but maybe it was. I mean, it's so good every year and I went 3
Right.
years in a row and they were kind of um there's a lot of consistency between the three of them, but it might have been my favorite. It's interesting. It was the most normal. Like nothing weird happened. Like it
That's
didn't
kind of great.
it didn't have like the COVID craziness that we had 2 years ago, and it wasn't like snowing in Southern California like it was last year. And so
No,
yeah, it was
instead
just
we've
kind of a
got like
normal
the
cruise.
Northern California blizzard at the Donner Pass, which is crazy. I'm heading to California on Wednesday, by the way.
The Star Trek cruise is kind of cursed. Like things always go crazy like during on the Star Trek cruise. Like Star Trek cruise number 4 in 2020 was like right as like everything shut down. It was like
I
right
remember
when the ship was coming back.
Gates McFadden, like I think she caught a bunch of folks caught like it the
I
early,
hadn't
yeah, it's
heard
like,
I hadn't heard
yeah,
anyone who I did hear that some people got sick this year, but no one that I know has said anything. I haven't seen anything personally mentioned, but I just
right.
assumed that like yeah, shortly after like any convention or any event, people will start being like, "Oh no, I got sick." I think that's just permanent now, unfortunately. But
Well, yeah, and
the
you there's
con
always
crud.
the I call it like the gunge, but I guess crud's a better word. I don't know what gunge means. It just sounds like crud.
But I feel fine, so I don't
That's
know.
good.
Whatever. I have like the Spock immunity, maybe. I've gotten sick on the cruise before, but not this year. So whatever was going around, it passed over me,
Excellent.
thankfully.
I'm being told I'm twice as loud as you, but I didn't do anything to my microphone since the last time. You sound fine to me. I don't know. Do I sound loud to you in your ear
Um,
holes,
no, but
audience?
I can turn your volume up or down, so that's
Yeah,
probably
let's
it's
see.
not gonna. Yeah, if we don't sound, if we still sound unusual, let us know.
Yeah, we try to equalize.
But what
There's
do you
got to be an app for that or something. Anyways, so
remind me so hell just like as someone who you've never gone on the cruise but like we talk about it every year what um I don't know what
well,
like the things that like stand out to you, like I don't know, what is it like to you as like the observer, like what's the stuff that like you're like, oh man, I wish I was doing that.
I almost went on the cruise this time. I actually had my ticket and
That's
everything. I had a
right, that's
cabin,
right.
like I had everything booked, but unfortunately my father passed away. Well, that you can't prevent that from happening. So we made the decision to not go on the cruise this year. So maybe next year, since it goes out of Miami,
Does go
but
out of
the
Miami.
yeah, but then next year you might not be on it. So you might be
i'm
asking
not
me questions.
I'm not booked on next year's cruise.
So we might do a reversal
Yeah.
of sorts if that's the case. But I do want you to be there. Like the whole one of the big reasons I would want to go is to hang out with you, Father. But yeah, from an observer's perspective, I think it's like the thing that's most appealing about it is just like the kind of intimacy, if you will, that you have with the Trek performers and stuff. It just seems like you get more quality time with them. And then like a convention's like maybe a day or two or whatever. but it's so big and massive, and like you're kind of like, do I go to this or do I go to that or do I go to this autograph for everything? So here it's like, uh, I don't know how to describe it. It just feels like you're on a cruise with them. So it's not like, but it is also like a convention, is what I hear, and what it
Yeah.
feels like too. There's a lot of like, themed stuff going on, and it's very immersive in that sense. And then yeah, there's like something for everyone. I feel like on a cruise. So yeah, that's part of the appeal for of it for me. I wonder what our audience thinks. Who in the audience, I'm curious, has been on the cruise, and if you haven't, what about it? Same question that Fatheree just asked me. What, from an observer's perspective, what about it like seems like the coolest thing?
Or any other questions,
Yeah, or
please
any
let
other
us know.
questions?
This
Yeah.
is your opportunity. If you're here live, you can ask anything you want about the Star Trek cruise.
Oh, cool. Are all the crew members of the ship dressed up in uniforms and
The
stuff, or?
the people who work for the company ECP that puts on the themed cruises, they also do an '80s cruise, which is going on right now. That I hear
All right.
Garrett Wong and Chase Masterson were like going on that as like just cruise goers. It's just like on vacation. So
So they just like got off a cruise and then like immediately got on another one just
yeah,
to
on the
just to
same
do it.
ship.
That's
On the same
on the
ship.
same ship. That's
It's
rad.
crazy because they take down all the Star Trek decorations that last morning and they start putting up the '80s decorations. But the people who work for ECP, they in the past they were in like red TOS Yeoman Rand uniforms, but they've been promoted to first officer, I guess, because now they're all dressed like Una on Strange New Worlds as first officer.
That's pretty
But
cool.
yeah, they really do like decorate the ship. They as soon as like you step on, you do see like the ECP staff wearing the Starfleet uniforms. That's my cabin. That's the
Oh, nice looking cabin.
um. But that was home for a week. But yeah, the ship had as you can see like this bar. It's normally just kind of themed like an old tavern pub, but because they had to make everything Star Trek related, they hang up this Gorn and it becomes the Gregarious Gorn Tavern. I think Gregarious, is that the right word? I don't know, something like that. Um,
Gregarious. Yeah, I think
but
that makes
yeah,
sense.
my old
Gregarious.
enemy.
That's funny.
But that first day, I actually did like a live stream from the top of the ship, a little bit with Thad from the Infinite Diversity podcast on BQN.
He's super cool. Shout out to
Yeah,
Thad.
great dude. And I see him on the ship doing stuff like all the time. I bump into him a lot because he's always going to panels and being active and doing stuff. But yeah, these are pictures. That's Anthony Montgomery in the foreground and up on the screen. But they bring out all of the actor guests that are on the cruise when they do like the launch party, like when we're about to take off, set sail out of Cape Canaveral. And there's John Billingsley with his big fan that says he's a gay icon. He declared himself a gay icon. I don't know why. He says he's not gay. He says he doesn't understand it either. But he
as
has
a
these.
gay as a gay person, I can say that John Billingsley is in fact a gay icon.
I believe it. I don't. There were a lot. I saw a lot of people waving these fans around that say John Billingsley is a gay icon, and that was quite popular. So, I mean, John says he doesn't
Did
understand
you
it
get
either, but that's okay.
did you get a fan for me?
I
Just
no,
kidding, just
but
kidding. It's all
I'm
right.
sure they'll pop up somewhere. Go check eBay. I'm sure you can find them. There's Ed Speleers, Connor
Oh, he's so baby
Trinneer,
girl.
Michelle Hurd, Todd Stashwick, Denise Crosby. Denise Crosby and John Delancey, I'm pretty sure they're the only two that have been on every single Star Trek cruise.
Oh,
I
wow.
might be wrong, but I think that's true.
Right
Anthony
on.
Rapp, Gates McFadden. But so in addition to like having the actors on
Ooh,
the
she looks great.
yeah, she really does. In addition to having like the actors on the cruise, though, I've talked about this in years before, but they all do performances. They all do something, and different actors have like different skill sets. Like Anthony Rapp, he always sings like this really beautiful concert every year. He has a great singing voice. He like performed on Broadway for a long time. He sings like the song he wrote about like his mom who died of cancer. Like I always cry when I hear it, but I don't like hear it on like the Star Trek cruise. Or I heard him sing it at Vegas one time. Um,
Hmm.
but they do that. There's a lot of really, this is the most funny shit I've ever seen on the cruise. A big part of that just comes from like Todd Stashwick and Tawny Newsome being like really hilarious improv comedians. But they're like, I don't know, they just did like some really cool programming, including some stuff with like Gates McFadden.
That's fun.
No tap dancing from her though. I don't know if she's like retired from her dancing days, but she doesn't dance on the cruise.
This cruise seemed like the most star-studded one. It seemed like there were a lot of folks on this one, um, from all the different shows too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, they have like a good variety. I do ask, they send out like the survey asking for feedback, and I always tell them like, you'll need some Star Trek Prodigy. Get some Prodigy up in here, yo.
Yeah, it's true.
But just talking about like programming and stuff, here's a good example of that. Like here's like a typical day. Here is the day 3 schedule, 3 p.m. So like day 3, I think that was the day we were in Curacao. So we arrived at like 12:30 in the afternoon and stayed there till like 10:30 at night. Maybe that
Wait,
was a
so what
different
happened in
day.
day one? Yeah, like what happened in day? So day one is the you guys are off. That's what you showed us. So what happens on day two again?
Well,
Just
like
like
every
that's
day they,
just you're on your way,
yeah,
right? I
this is like,
guess
well, our first 4 days were all no, our first 3 days. Yeah, our
we're all
first
at
three
sea.
days were all C days. Yeah, so this was a C day, day
Okay,
3. Okay, so that's
got
why
it.
there's nothing. So yeah, day 4 is when we were in Curacao. But like on the C days, there's like convention programming and stuff like this you can do all day. Like go to a trivia with Science Squad hosted by the science consultants Dr. Aaron McDonald and Dr. Mohammed Noor, or there's a LGBTQIA meetup hosted by StarTrek.com, or
Oh wow,
Tuvix, a joined at the hip improv show featuring Eugene Cordero and Tawny Newsome. That was basically just like an improv show, just like Rutherford and Mariner, just like, well, I mean, not even them. It was just like Eugene and Tawny just like doing improv, but they were funny. It was like entertaining. Um,
wait. So I just saw that like something was sponsored by StarTrek.com. That's kind of cool. That's like hadn't seen anything like that before. That's pretty cool.
well, the cruise is like an official Star Trek event, so it'll have like all the Star
All
Trek
the thing.
branding
Okay.
on stuff. But like there are theme nights, like so the theme night for day 3 was the masquerade formal. Um, but like the day 1 theme, it was like it was a Gorn party, like a
That's
day
awesome.
1 on the ship. So there's a lot of people like dressed as Gorn running around, and
Did anyone
uh,
have a Gorn wedding?
I did not see a Gorn wedding. I mean, like these two look like they might have had one. They have a little Gorn baby with them.
That's true. There you
Here's
go.
another Gorn couple. Kind of surprised to see multiple Gorn couples walking around holding hands, but it's kind of beautiful. Like where else are you gonna see that?
It's a very Gorny cruise. Wow.
My old foe, the Gorn.
That's like a statue or something, like a figurine, right? Like a giant life-size sculpture, I should say, right?
That's an actual Gorn that I had to fight on Cestus 3, like
Yeah,
Kirk.
right. Okay, fine. They got the eyes right.
I don't
Oh, the
spend
door
much time.
decorations.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
right.
spend much time in my cabin. I'm like barely in there. I just like go in there to sleep and shower and change clothes. But a lot of people like to like decorate their doors and stuff. So they get, Trekkies get pretty creative.
Yeah,
So
I see that.
attention Bajoran workers got some Spock love. This was like one of my neighbors on deck
Wow,
9.
that's amazing. That's actually funny for a cruise ship, like the triple theme. It's
What
good.
really impresses me is the amount of
Oh
cosplay
wow,
some people are able to pack onto the ship. Because you got to think, like, a lot of people are flying from other parts of the world to get to
I know.
Florida. I mean, it's
It's
easier if
true.
you're within driving distance. You can load up the car, but I mean, look at this. Look at this. Chaotica.
That's so cool. Very good. And the robot.
Yeah, that 7 of 9 disabled. So they do a salute to sci-fi night. One of the themes where people can like dress up as like other science
Oh,
fiction
science
stuff. I
fiction.
guess
There's a
I
safe of
yeah.
Marshmallow Man.
Yeah, there was a lot of Ghostbusters love. I guess because there's a Ghostbusters movie coming out this year, but there's like a lot of. I got some more Ghostbusters pics. I'll show you in a little bit. But yeah,
Oh,
we got
very
like a
cool.
Jedi, and then like the most Jodie Whittaker doctors I've ever seen. The
That's awesome.
Doctor Who cosplayers there. Um, the Invisible Man showed up. We got some Na'vi from Avatar.
They
So
look great.
that was the picture I sent to the group chat, Sohail, and I said, when the couple that keeps buying you drinks at the bar is looking at you funny,
That's
and
funny.
George and Jane Judson and Alf.
Wow.
So
Alf, oh my gosh. I haven't thought about Alf in a long time. That's a
and
good one.
some Stargate dude, is that Anubis or something? I don't know. I've never
Hmm,
watched
hmm.
Stargate, but
I haven't watched
and
Stargate either, except for here and there. I saw a little bit.
I
Ernest
loved I loved
Ghost.
Vulcan Ernest.
That's amazing. Know what I mean?
Know what I mean, Vern?
That's awesome. Did he have
Yeah.
the voice?
Speaking of Ghostbusters, we got this Rick Moranis looking dude. His name is actually Rick, by the way. And then
That's
over
funny.
here we have a Ferengi, Vulcan, and Klingon Ghostbusters squad.
That's pretty rad.
That
That
is so
Ferengi, yeah.
cool. I thought they were
That's
cool
pretty
as
cool,
hell.
yeah.
Yeah, I talked to the Ferengi. Doesn't that sound fucking weird to say I talked to the Ferengi? But
Yeah, it does.
I talked to the Ferengi and he said they were from Ontario.
Oh,
So I
okay.
thought they did a good job.
They certainly did. Very nice. But you're right, like how do you pack all this stuff? Like do people still use steamer trunks and stuff like that? Is that like a thing? I
Maybe.
wonder.
I mean, you got to get creative. Oh, and the gifts, they give you free gifts. So anyone who follows my socials, if you checked out like the Tex-Trek TikToks or Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts, I think I finally got like a handle on using those. Um, you know what the secret is, Sohel? You just record one short video and then just post it to all your places.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Um, Worked out pretty well. Worked out easy. And then you just copy paste the same title to everything. But I posted like the gifts we were receiving, and then some people I think didn't want to pack the hats that we had. I got some pictures of the hats. But yeah, so some people left their gifts behind, which is kind of sad. I don't know what's going
That
on
is
with
sad.
this Borg, but he had like a whole lot of like real life technology. It looked like 90s like PC gaming tech. Uh,
It's a
but
cool take on like if the Borg like somehow were stranded in the past and had to like rebuild their
oh
parts
yeah,
because
from like the
it's stuff
20th
like
century, yeah.
century. It's kind of a cool idea.
If it was like a Borg walking around like Best Buy or Circuit City in like 1997.
Or Radio Shack in the
Yeah.
80s.
Or
That would
Computer
be really
City. Do you remember
City, yeah,
Computer
that's right.
City? Yeah.
I do
Or
remember Computer
what was
City.
it? And then like it changed to Comp USA or something like
That's
that.
right. That's what it was. You're right.
I
I
used to go
forgot.
buy I would go to Computer City to buy my Star Trek PC games in the 90s.
Oh, rad.
That's where I got like the CD-ROM version of the Star Trek Encyclopedia.
And I see there's Talin, I believe, right?
Yeah, she's a very good Talin.
Yep.
Had the Vulcan stoicism on display on her face. These two were great. Look, it was Kai Wynn Barbie and Q Barbie.
Oh my gosh, I love it. That's
Yeah,
very
I
cool.
don't I think they just showed up as like separate Star Trek Barbies. And then look at this Brunt and Emperor Giorgio.
That's really good too. Oh my gosh, fantastic. The Ferengi are on fire on the cruise. They all look so good.
Oh, that's just me. But I dress up too. I just stick to the Starfleet uniforms. So they got like this cool like little action figure thing you can take pictures of yourself in. So it's like, look, it's like Fatheree Star Trek action figures. You know, you can get the O'Brien Fatheree, you can get the Pike Fatheree. Collect
That's
them
very
all.
fun. Did you do a Oh, you did. Oh, you did that one. Okay, that's cool. I love it. Collect
What Toddy, our friend Toddy, calls this the chair vest for
the
some
chair.
reason. It's not a chair or a vest. I don't know.
Just to give you a
But
glimpse of how his mind works.
I mean, he's he's from New Zealand and France and Canada, all three. So it's it's amazing he doesn't say more weird stuff, you know.
And in his accent, Chavist.
Oh,
I
but
can't do it.
speaking of like how they decorate the ship, though, I always love that they go the extra mile in the elevators. They put this shit
Mm,
up in the elevators, and
that
it
is
kind
pretty
of makes you
cool.
feel like you're on a starship turbo lift. It's just fun to see.
That's cool. That is pretty cool. Dare dare to do better. I like that. That's 2009, right? I dare you to do better.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was a quote from there. And then this is the
Yay, this is a
only
great
photo
photo.
op. It's the only photo I did. But it's me, Ed Spaliers, Gates McFadden, and Will Wheaton. So the Crusher family photo.
Did you get a moment to have a chat with any of them?
I spoke to both Ed Speleers and Gates, and they were
Ed
nice.
Spillers, I'll say it again, is so baby girl.
I just talked as we were like taking the picture, like we didn't have like a long conversation. It was just like, "Hi, how are you? You enjoying the cruise?" Like that type of stuff. But they were both like super nice. Um,
Very cool.
I was standing in between them, so like Will didn't have like a good chance to talk to me. But Ed Speleers, I would say he's such like a normal dude. He's like it, he would just frequently just be like standing like out on like the pool deck, just like I just turn around, he'd just be like standing there, just like leaning on a rail or something, just like being normal. He's just like a
Like
he's British, so you'd probably say like he wouldn't just be like a typical bro. He's like a typical bloke. He's almost kind. I don't want to say he's like a basic bloke. That almost sounds kind of mean, but he's just like he's a very like normal, down
a
to earth
ba-
dude.
he's baby
He's just
girl.
a
I've been
bloke.
saying I've been saying he's baby girl. That's what he is. He's baby girl.
I don't
I
think
like how
he.
you don't process that. Like
I
you're
don't
not like you're not
no,
even
I
dealing
don't. I
with
think he's a
it.
grown man. I don't think he identifies as a baby or a girl. But
It's a term of endearment for like
I
really cool people. Father, you're
okay.
baby
Am I a
girl too.
baby girl then?
Yeah, you're baby girl.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah, I'm a baby girl, y'all. That means I'm really cool.
Father, but wait, let me get this right. He's just like hangs out. Like he just like you're like walking around and there's Ed Spilliers at the bar, or Ed Spilliers like on a railing or like on a
I mean,
deck
it's not like
chair.
he's.
It's
I don't think he
like
was like
it's just
stalking
like
me. He wasn't like following me, but just like yeah, there were like two or three times I just noticed him just being pretty chill. Like it's like you don't realize he's there. Then you're like, oh fuck, that guy was like standing there for like 5 minutes. That was Ed Speleers.
that's like I think he was stalking you, Father. I think that's what's really
Oh,
happening.
he's just trying to get closer to you. So hell is all it is. But the one of the unique things about the cruise this year that it didn't have before, the Okudas were on board. So here's like some of
Very
our.
cool, yeah. And they were tweeting. I mean, they were like posting photos and stuff on Facebook and Instagram, and Twitter. Sorry, and probably Instagram. It was cool.
But this is Lolita Faggio on the far left, and we have Mike and Denise Okuda, and then the science big brains, Dr. Muhammad, Dr. Aaron, and then Rob Perlman, the guy who writes some of the books. He's always on the cruise. Um, and then the dude on the right, I believe his name is Tom something, but he's the makeup guy. You commented on how good all the Ferengi look.
Oh,
He was
right on.
doing makeup on the ship. I didn't do any because it's like it's kind of pricey, and you have to like make an appointment and then like come in and then sit in the chair and let them do it. So it's like a long process, and it's a big financial commitment on top of that. So it's just like I'm so busy doing other stuff. I don't want to just spend 3 or 4 hours of the cruise, sitting in a chair getting makeup glued on. But it does look really good. The stuff that he does look really good.
Is he not the one who did your Klingon thing
No,
the one time? Oh,
that
that's
was
someone
John
else. Okay.
Paladin a few years ago. But the Klingon stuff that he does is actually like more. It's like a bit more advanced than the prosthetic I had. Like,
Oh, right on.
they look better. They're bigger and they look better.
Oh, very cool.
There's Dr. Muhammad. I went to some of his science panels. So if you like doing convention stuff, you don't have to. Like, there's plenty of cruise ship things. You go play shuffleboard or go like sit in the hot tub or the pool or play
Right,
on the
right.
water slide or go eat in the buffet or whatever.
There's a
But if
movie theater, right? Like in the on the ship as well, I guess. Oh no, those are taken up by like the panels. Never
yeah,
mind. Sorry.
they're doing presentation stuff in there. But like overall, the if you want like convention experience stuff, you get that on the ship. And I feel like it's not so much programming that Star Trek Las Vegas, for example, that's the big one, but there's always like so much stuff going on, and it can be hard if there's like a cool little kind of niche panel going on. Chances are it's going to be overlapped with like some big guest in the main stage room or something like that. So on the cruise, there's not as much like overlap, so it's way easier to see and do everything. There was also more sea days this year because there were only 2 ports. They normally go to 3, but we only did Aruba and Curacao.
Mm.
I didn't mind having the additional time on the ship though, because you're on like a giant Star Trek convention. You look at this. You can go see a panel of Mike and Denise Okuda. They're talking about the old like Saratoga prop and some other props and stuff that they auctioned off at Christie's in 2006 or whenever.
That's awesome.
this was a TNG panel, but just I mean, just again, another example of just like a typical convention type panel. We got Brent, Denise, Will, John Delancey, Gates, and LeVar Burton. I don't think LeVar Burton likes being at sea because he seems a little like out of his element on the cruise, but he does like really cool stuff. He does like a LeVar Burton reads type thing on the first night. That was the big show in the main theater. It was LeVar Burton reads, but it was also like Brent Spiner wanted to read too. So Brent Spiner read a really weird piece of short fiction, actually set in Texas. That like it was like a thing that he wrote and performed at some event that Tommy Lee Jones did of like Texas artists doing Texas art, like a long time ago, like 20 years ago. It's really weird. He's from Houston. If people don't know, Brent Spiner is from Houston. Um, but it was a weird story, but I don't know. It's kind of cool to sit and listen to Brent Spiner read it, so. Uh,
Have they been on before, Brent and LeVar?
yes, and
Oh,
LeVar had
okay.
done his reading thing before, and Brent had done the Anthony Rapp thing. He did like he was out on stage singing. He's more like
Singing.
show
Oh,
tunes and
cool.
stuff.
Yeah,
Anthony
yeah.
Rapp's a bit more pop. Like Anthony Rapp would sing songs from that were like he would sing like Radiohead covers or like songs from like Rent and stuff.
Well, he
And
was in Rent, so
yeah,
yeah.
but Brent Spiner would sing a lot. He would do kind of like an old school, like he'd come out on stage in a tuxedo with like a spotlight on him, and
Standards.
yeah. But I don't know. He wasn't that good, so I'm glad he doesn't do that. He's like, yeah, just like shut up and read like LeVar, Brent. Like
Oh man, I love Brent.
Let
What
Anthony
do you th-
sing.
No, Brent Spiner's great. He does Old Yellow Eyes. Have you ever heard that album? You gotta check
Yes.
it out. But anyways, whatever Brent Spiner wants to do, I'm there for it. So I
Oh, and it was
like
my
him a
first
lot.
time seeing Gabriel Ruiz to Lynn, because she's so new to the
She
fandom,
was
right?
Yeah, and she was having fun. She was posting a lot on Twitter and stuff, and I heard she was reading some questions in the Tallinn voice or something like
And
that. It
she
was
had just
cool.
had a kid like a month earlier. I think it's her second kid though, so it's probably
Oh,
like, okay, second kid. I've been with the baby for a month. I'm fine. Like taking a week off and going on vacation. It's probably like good timing actually. You know. Um, but one of they do these artist hosted events where one of them, for example, was like a sushi making lesson with Sonequa Martin Green.
did
That
you
one
do
sold.
that?
No, they all sell out like super
Uh,
fast. I've like in the past I've done like tequila tasting with Denise Crosby. The one I
oh,
did this year
rad.
though, it was brunch with Lower Decks with Eugene Cordero, Tawny Newsome, and Gabriel Ruiz. And
Oh, cool.
I didn't like get to mingle with Tawny much during that, but Eugene and Gabriel both like came over to our table and talked to us for a long time, and they were
That's so
like super
cool.
cool. Yeah, they were just seemed like they were having fun on vacation too. So that's kind of like the unique thing about the cruise is that you're right. So how that's true. You do get like that more intimate
Kind of
I guess
experience, right? Yeah.
experience. Not all
Did
not that,
Tanya
that
not
that's
recognize you
not for
from last
everyone
year's?
though.
Did Tanya not recognize you from last year's cruise?
I didn't talk to her directly. Like we never had like a eye contact like back and forth conversation. She just talked to our table. She just kind of like walked by for a little bit.
Jill
She,
47, Tex-Trek Patreon member. I mean, no, sorry, I'm not sure if she is, but did he use his Rutherford voice? My favorite Lower Decks character.
he talks a lot like Rutherford in real life. That's just kind of how like when he's like excited or like when he's like hey y'all this is awesome. That's he just like turns into Rutherford. He's just that's just a lot of who he is
Did
comes
y'all
out.
talk about the characters or any like what did you guys are you is it okay to talk about what you guys talked about at the table?
Um
Or does
with
whatever
with
happens on the
uh
cruise stays on the cruise type of thing?
with Eugene Cordero, we were mainly talking about like I don't know cruise stuff and like being on boats and um with Gabriel we did talk about like the show. I told her that like I said I was hoping for even more to Lynn. I want her in every episode. I want you to be a series regular. I want your name in the billing. She was like, tweet that out, tweet that shit out to Mike McMahon. I said, like,
That's funny.
Mike McMahon hears my bullshit all the time. I doubt it does any good. I doubt he listens to me, but I'm out there making noise.
I would be really it's fun because Eugene Cordero is also really great in Loki and so I'd have like a
Oh,
ton
I
of
forgot he's
questions
in
about
that. He's
both.
in season 1. Does he come back in season 2?
He definitely comes back in season 2, and I feel like he has a bigger role in
Because
season 2 as
he's like
well.
blink and you miss him in season 1. That's awesome.
Oh
I gotta
yeah,
see
that's
season
true.
2.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely do.
He was blink and you miss him in The Mandalorian before
Oh,
Lower
that's
Decks.
right.
Before
That's
we,
right.
so I guess people who watched The Good Place are like, oh look, there's Pillboy, but no one else noticed. Yeah, so he's like a stealth actor in like every franchise. He's done Star Wars, Star Trek, and Marvel. Not many
He's got
people.
the he's got
If
the
he
card.
if he does something DC, then he can like assemble the Infinity Gauntlet. I think.
Oh, that's amazing.
But speaking of Eugene Cordero and Tawny Newsome, here's a picture of like their improv show that they did. Um,
That's awesome.
This was Garrett Wong's
Do,
trivia. I didn't do that well. It was a lot of Voyager questions. And if Joel is here, Joel, one of the questions was
Joel is here.
Seven of Nine's parents, and I couldn't remember if it was Magnus and Aaron or Magnus and Astra, and I got it wrong. But
Which was it?
Magnus and Aaron. But I'll
Oh,
never
okay.
forget. I'll never forget that Seven of Nine's dad is Magnus after Star Trek Las Vegas, and now I'll never forget that her mom is Aaron.
That's pretty funny.
This is Max Gradinchik and Chase Masterson. So, if people have gone to Vegas and have seen the Rat Pack show, you might know that Max Gradinchik loves to write Star Trek parody songs. Like that's basically like the Rat Pack show is just like a bunch of Max Gradinchik written Star Trek parody songs. Like Vaughn Armstrong will sing a Johnny Cash, a boy named Sue, except he makes it a Borg named Hugh, and it's a song about a Borg named Hugh who befriends Geordi, and you basically get Iborg from the Next Generation in the form of a country song.
Yeah.
So they did like, I don't know, instead of like Jailhouse Rock, he had like the L House of Quarks. There's just like a song about the bar. Just, you know, nothing too crazy, but they're just they're fun lyrics, I guess. It's like a Weird Al Yankovic of like Star Trek though.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Very cool. Chase Masterson's birthday was on the cruise, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was, and then she's celebrating the 80s now, so she's still
Oh,
partying
that's
on the boat, I
right.
guess.
That's awesome.
Max Gradinchik's concerts are super funny though, because he always seems like so unprepared, and it's hard to tell, like, does this guy just like not have his shit together, or is he doing this as part of his act? And it's kind of ingenious how he's like incorporated that into it, but he's kind of like Rom, like on stage he's always kind of like nervous and kind of like dumbfounded and like, oh what, we're doing like this song. He's like, oh, do I have like, oh wait, like, I need like this piece of paper, like, oh, and then like he'll go like talk to the piano player, be like, oh no, wait, you're doing that song like that, like, oh okay, and then he's like, you know, he's like always like that, and it's hard to tell like
if it's him or
yeah,
like
it's a
or
mix
like
of
an act.
both. It's a little bit of both, I think.
That's awesome.
But this was the Crusher Family Comedy Hour. It's like one of
I
the
was so
funniest
envious
things I've
about
ever
this.
seen. Yeah. So this was, I remember this was like day 4 of the cruise was like a perfect day for me. It was like I actually got like 6 hours of sleep the night before. It was the first time like in a while that had happened, which is kind of like my normal. And I woke up feeling really good. I had a good like steak at the brunch with Eugene Cordero and Gabriel Ruiz and Tawny Newsome, and then we arrived at Curacao at like 12:30 that day, and they let us like disembark almost immediately, and it was so fun. Like I was going down the stairs in front of Will Wheaton and Todd Stashwick, and those two nerds are just like talking about like, oh, have you played like this RPG game? Oh, it's so good. I got that expansion. I love it. And like, and their wives are like standing behind them, just like, you know, like you tell, like they don't care, but they're just happy like their husbands are having fun. But like those guys are just such like big nerds and dorks. And just it was fun just vicariously like watching them and like enjoy like their vacation together. I don't know, that was a real joy to see. But then later that night, after spending a day in beautiful Curacao, I'm back on board this floating Star Trek convention, and I'm laughing my ass off at the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life, the Crusher Comedy Hour, where they act out this little stage play of Captain Shaw is back, Admiral Crusher resurrected him, and she's dealing with this crisis of her traveler son Wesley has shown up, and she's introducing him to her more normal flesh and blood, non-omnipotent god child, Jack Crusher.
Except with Borg implants.
Yeah, he's messed up too. He's like weird
Yeah.
Borg boy too. And it was like a totally ridiculous thing of like she very much like leaned in like the blazing Bev character. Like these images here show you how ridiculous it is. Like you see like Todd Stashwick as Captain Shaw. He's like doing like a Dr. Phil thing, like trying to help this family. There on the right, you see him like sitting on his Dr. Phil chair, like leaning in, listening to them, like trying to like help them in like a therapy session.
That's hilarious.
But it turns out that Wesley and Jack don't get along. They don't like each other. Like the first thing like Jack Crusher says to Wesley is like shite, you got old or something like that, but yeah, it was a lot. And then like Will is like or Wesley is like so distraught to see like his mom has like devolved into like this like blazing Bev like burnout, like she's like, oh my god, mom, what did you do to this boy? What did you do to this like crazy dude, like this guy Jack? You raised me to be like such like a sweet little nerd, and then you raised this little hellraiser Jack Crusher.
That's funny. That is pretty fun. I like the blazing Bev thing.
the other fun game show type
Oh
thing.
yeah, Hollywood Squares, right?
They do Hollywood Squares or Star Trek Squares, but with Walter Koenig was the center square.
Oh, right
So
on.
here we have Dominic Keating up in the top left, Sonequa Martin Green. Then that's Eve Harlow, who plays the villain Maul in Discovery Season 5.
Oh, cool. Can't wait to meet her.
Yeah, I haven't
On the show.
watched anything from Disco Season 5 yet, but I am thinking I'll be at the premiere here in Austin, Texas Monday, so I'll see the first 2 episodes then.
And
So
there was something cool about the premiere. It's playing at the where is it playing? At South by Southwest.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
The name of the theater that I know, it's like there's a lot of Paramount theaters in the world, but it's actually like Austin's Paramount Theater, which is the oldest theater in the United States to have the same continuous ownership. It's over 100 years of the same family has owned it.
Wow, that's kind of cool. That is pretty cool.
Oldest theater in the United States. You probably go to Europe and there's like some family like, yeah, we've had this theater for 200 years or 300 years or something, but 100 is pretty old for our country. But who else we got here? LeVar Burton, Walter Koenig, Garrett Wang. Bottom left, that was Max Grodenchik, and then Michelle Hurd, and then Peyton List, who played...
from Picard Season 1.
What was the name of her?
Nerissa.
Nerissa, yeah. Who everyone hated except for me. But that might just be because I thought she was super cute. But the Squares game is fun because, like Walter Koenig is like, every time like they ask him a question, he like walks to the edge of the stage so he can hear better because he's like kind of hard of hearing. And people are like, "Are you okay, Walter?" And he's like, "Are y'all scared I'm gonna fall off? Like I'm good." But then he's like, "Oh!" Like he's like accidentally falling off, but he's like, "No, I'm just kidding."
Oh, that's cute.
But, it was I don't know. He seemed like he was having a lot of fun, so it was kind of it was fun watching the actors have fun.
I like Walter Koenig's old man energy. It's very good. It's very fun.
Yeah, he plays that up a lot.
Wait, going back to the thing, were the contestants just folks from the audience or anyone specific? Oh, okay, cool.
And she was actually from Austin.
Oh, okay.
And he's friends with our friend Amy. But I can't remember his name, unfortunately. Sorry.
Not Dr. McCoy, right? Like the guy who plays who's a really good Dr. McCoy. It's not him.
I don't.
Anyways,
think so.
All right, carry on.
They did a
whoa! Look at the size of that Horgon.
So one of the theme nights, it's always my favorite whenever they do it. I love when they have like parties on the pool deck. Like that's like I go on a cruise ship to like hang out on the pool deck. That's like my favorite place to be. You got like this convenient bar right here that's never gonna stop serving me with the drink package, and then I have like the beautiful night sky. I have the ocean air. I have the swimming pool. I have the hot tub. It's like it's all there. It's like that's where I like to hang out on the cruise. But
nice.
But yeah, so we have a Horgon, we have some Orion young lady taking pictures in front of it, and then this gentleman over here also displaying on the Horgon. But yeah, it's Ryza's very it's a fun tropical festive, so it's perfect to why would you not do a Ryzen theme? I think last year they actually did not have a Ryzen theme, and that's insane to me. I
Huh.
think
That's a
they did a Bajoran Gratitude Festival instead.
oh,
But
okay. That's
this is
a
one of
rad
our
hat.
gifts. These
Yeah,
hats. A lot of people left them on the ship. I wore mine on the plane because I didn't have room in my suitcase. But um, yeah,
that's a great hat. Looks cool.
and a pina colada. But yeah, this is the Ryzen party. So that's what I love on the cruise is like this type of stuff. But I mean, there's so much more to it. Like if this ain't your scene, that's okay. There's a lot of other stuff to enjoy as well.
Absolutely.
Look at that
Oh,
watermelon, though.
that's
That doesn't make you
awesome.
happy to see like a horgon carved onto a watermelon.
It
Just saying
does.
that sounds insane to the majority of people who will ever live in human existence, but to us Trekkies, that gibberish means something.
It's very cool. It's very tiki.
Yeah, and look at this cake, the Return to Ryza cake.
I saw that online. That's pretty rad. And it's like it's got little mountain frosting mountains and stuff and very cool. Did
Yeah,
you actually
I didn't
did you
eat
actually
any of
have
it.
some? Oh, okay.
I assume it's not going to be very good cake, but it makes for a good picture.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't like the pretty cake is like never like really pretty wedding cake always tastes like shit.
Pre- Pretty wedding cake equals shit taste. I got
Yeah,
it.
it does. It does. Take that to the bank. Uh, but to bring the mood down a little bit, sorry, but we'll lighten it back up in a moment. But we did lose Kenneth Mitchell. That's like I was telling you, like always something like bad happens with the cruise. Like it, last year it was they announced Discovery was being canceled. Or no, that was 2 years ago.
Oh,
But
okay.
there's something else last year, or like 3 years ago, the Ukraine war started on the cruise. It's like it does kind of seem like something bad tends to happen, but um,
And a
it
lot
was,
of good. But
but
yeah, this
it
is
was.
sad.
I'm actually kind of honored to have been around a lot of other Kenneth Mitchell fans. Like when he passed away, though, I feel kind of privileged, because he had some of like his coolest moments in the Star Trek fandom on the Star Trek
On the
cruise.
cruise,
There
that's true.
when he was first diagnosed with remind me it's
ALS.
a ALS.
Yeah.
But I think he might have actually it was either when he announced that or when he announced he was using a wheelchair was on Star Trek Cruise 4. Um or I'm sorry, 3, right? The one in 2020 right before COVID. And he actually like crowd surfed there like out of his
Oh, I
wheelchair
remember that.
there.
Yeah.
And but he still had a lot of his mobility. Remember when he played like Aurelio in season 3 of Disco? It was like around that time. He could still speak. He was using the wheelchair. By the time that Cruise 4 rolled around in 2021, he had lost his speaking ability. I saw him shortly. I'm sorry, Cruise 2022. But I saw him shortly before that in Vegas in 2021. And I actually remember saying back then, 3 years ago, like, wow, Kenneth Mitchell speaking to us during his panel at Star Trek Las Vegas and saying that the most important thing for him to do with the last few years of his life is to spend time with the Star Trek fandom and spend time with his family and like showing his kids how cool the Star Trek fandom is and wanting to like leave that impression on his kids and like pass that on to them on his way out the door,
Hmm.
as he's departing. That was like the coolest, most inspiring thing I'd ever seen at a Star Trek convention back 3 years ago in Vegas, until 2 years ago on the Star Trek cruise when Kenneth Mitchell, in the wheelchair but able to speak electronically through his Stephen Hawking's thing, and he was talking about how like music is something that unites all of us. That like even him in his chair, he can feel like those same vibrations. They're coming out of the speakers that reverberate in all of us, or like in him. It's something that can like unify and connect everyone on like a literal wavelength. And we'll all be tuned in, and it was so cool at that rave 2 years ago because like every Star Trek actor like on that ship, like under the age of 70, like came out on the stage and started dancing with Kenneth Mitchell. Like in it, like he didn't let the chair stop him, like he didn't let that stop him from like enjoying the rave. And so it's sad that he passed away while we were on the cruise, but the beauty of that is that we were able to do like another like Kenneth Mitchell rave. So we brought that back, and on stage here, that's Garrett Wong. That's Mary Chifo's partner, Maddie. Garrett Wong, Mary Chifo, Sonequa Martin Green, and her husband, Tawny Newsome. That was the cruise DJ. And then here, I believe we have Michelle Hurd, Eugene Cordero, and Anthony Rapp. So they all showed up to party for Kenneth. So
That is
that was
very
cool.
cool. I also heard they did a Klingon death ritual for him.
I wasn't in the room when that happened, but that doesn't surprise me. I kind of like popped in and out. Um, but like I was saying, like a lot of times I would just hang out on the pool deck. So this was like one
What are you
quiet
drinking
evening.
there?
I
What
was
is
just out
that?
there. That's a blue Cosmo, but
Oh, nice.
so it was,
A Romulan Cosmo.
I get the drink package, so it's like I might as well just like try random stuff. But I always just like go back to like drinking like like normal stuff that I like, and by the end of the night I'm drinking like I'm just pounding Michelob Ultras like I'm back in Texas. So it's like, but I try to be fancy for a little bit. I'm like Sohail would appreciate me drinking this blue Cosmos.
I do
I'm gonna
appreciate
try
it.
one.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I'm watching Star Trek Discovery, just like out here, just like chilling, just watching Discovery. Or watching Star Trek VI with a
And
mudslide.
just like in the past, in the cabins on the TV, they've got different Star Trek series
Yeah.
playing on the different channels, right? That's a nice looking shot of the cruise ship, by the way.
Yeah, so there's our ship Mariner. How cool is that it's named Mariner and that we had Tawny Newsome on it? This is the first. It's been on the ship Mariner before, and Tawny Newsome's been on the cruise before. This is the first time it was both. Because
That
last
is
year
pretty
we were on
cool.
the LA, we were on the California ship.
Oh, very cool.
But this is all in Curacao. So I
Which is
didn't
a
do any.
Dutch colony, right? I believe.
Yeah, both these islands are Dutch. So
Hmm.
they are they're super touristy and super colonizer y. They're not. It's not like you're getting like like an authentic island experience or anything, but they're pretty islands to like walk around, and it's something like I haven't done in a long time, but I used to love doing this. Is I like to walk around in a foreign country by myself.
Mm,
There's something very like kind of like liberate. You feel like so free and away from everything.
that's
Um,
an interesting thing about you that I didn't know. I didn't realize that. Maybe you
I
said it
didn't
before,
realize
but yeah.
I didn't realize that was like a hobby of mine, I guess, until lately.
Until
I was like,
you,
I haven't done this in a while and I miss it. So,
right on.
um, yeah, Curacao was beautiful. I liked it more than Aruba if I gotta choose one or the other. But we stayed there way into the night until like 10:30 at night. Um, and then set sail for Aruba. We were actually like in Aruba like the next morning. Like when I woke, like we got there like 7 in the morning. They were like letting us like get off the ship. So we had a lot of time there as well.
Wow, look at that beach.
But the I shouldn't say this. It sounds like kind of snobby to say this almost, but my ex Antonia from Hawaii was like she's super into like the beach life, from growing up in Hawaii. And when we would cruise together, she would always pick like really cool like private beaches to go on excursions to. And so like the public beaches in the Caribbean like don't measure up to some of like the beautiful private beaches that I've hung out on, but it's still kind of cool. It's just like when we were in Curacao, it was on a Sunday, so it's fun to be like walking around there, and they're like the kids are out from school. It's like the kids are like out swimming, so it was kind of. I guess I did get to see like a little bit of like the local island life and in Curacao, but yeah, Aruba is just like stores. It's just like nothing but stores and restaurants everywhere. You don't
Very
really
cool.
see much else, but very
Was
pretty.
this from the ship, I guess, right?
Yeah, that was my view from the ship.
Wow. What's that like one single like mountain or something back there? It's like so crazy. Neat. The waters look really nice, Fatheree. It's like turquoise color. It's like so pretty. Now there you're having a whiskey, looks like.
Oh yeah, like that night, I'm just gonna drink Jameson whiskey on the rocks. I'm tired. I'm tired of fancy cocktails. It's just
Just give me a whiskey with on the rocks. That's nice. Captain Kirk would be proud of you.
yeah. I don't know. You got anything in the chat? Any questions in the chat? But anything else
We've
from you,
learned
Sohel?
that in referenda in 2005 and 2009, the citizens of Curacao voted to become a self-governing country within the Kingdom of the Netherlands. So that's neat. Um, uh, I think the only other thing was, did you guys do the Q masquerade and like all those other things? Like, did John Delancey preside over that? And
Yeah, so
what kind of
the
stuff
Q
was?
the Q costume party, they always save that for the last, not the last night before you disembark, but like the last night that's not a school night, you know, the last night before you have to get up to disembark.
Yeah.
They always have Q's costume party then, um, but and I should have paid attention to who won that, but I did not. But I guess it does kind of get to that point where it is kind of it can be so busy that you lose track of stuff.
Last time you guys saw the premiere of Star Trek Picard, right? Or something like that on the ship?
Yeah, I mean
Was there any
they dropped the trailer during the cruise. I
for
wasn't like an event or anything that
the
happened on,
updated
but
trailer for Disco 5?
yeah, the final trailer. That I don't know. Do you want to do it? Do you want to do a trailer breakdown on that?
You mean just like give a bonus to the audience? We could do it for 10 minutes because I kind of have a hard stop soon, but we could do, yeah, we could totally do it right now.
Oh, I meant like another day. I meant like
Oh, then yeah,
Saturday or something.
I'm super down. Yeah,
Like
this
Saturday
weekend.
after TAS if you have time.
So this week I'm traveling to San Diego. I won't be back
Oh,
till
that's right. That's
Monday.
right.
And Saturday I'll be working during the hours that I normally would be available. But actually, if you want to host it, you could do it. I don't want to miss it though. Actually, it's a good episode. We might have to wait a week. We'll wait a week. It'll be fine. But yeah, I'd love to do a, disco trailer breakdown. Also, I was waiting for you to do a Dune discussion, Fatheree. But
I can do that.
yeah,
Are we doing After Dark this week?
no, it's not gonna happen this
Cuz
week.
cuz you'll
I
be
thought it would, but my disorganization
oh.
was too much.
I saw Dune Part 2 24 hours ago and I liked it.
It's really good.
Yeah,
I will.
but there's some things I don't I there's so actually a couple things in there I dislike, but there's so much stuff that I like that I think I like it more than Part 1, even though it has more that I dislike than Part 1.
Well, let's talk about those things offline because we don't want to get into. If we start talking about it now, it's gonna be like another hour.
Well, that being said, it was another Star Trek cruise debrief in the books. I don't know if I'm
So
going next year, but I'll definitely go if they do one 2 years from now. I'll be back for that one.
right on. I hope it goes out of Miami because I want to kind of go on the cruise that you're on. So we'll see. We'll figure it out. That's my biggest draw for the Star Trek cruises. His time with Fatheree. It would be pretty awesome. We
I
didn't
think
get to meet up with
we'd have a
y'all,
good
and
time.
yeah, we didn't get to do the meetup in Cape Canaveral, but we tried. So that that
We
would
gotta
have
get
been
you
a
to
lot of fun
Vegas
too.
some year.
I know there's so
People
many
ask
things.
me about you when I go do things in public. People are like, "Where's Starfleet Sohail? Why doesn't
I
he
like
show
it.
up?"
I love that. Oh, good.
I was
I'm
like,
in
"Why can't y'all
demand.
just be happy to see Fatheree? Why can't y'all be like, hi Fatheree, we're so glad that you're here." But it's not like I show up, they're like, "Fatheree,
But
where's Sohail?"
wherever I go, people ask me where you are. So I guess it happens
Oh, I guess
both ways.
we're joined at the hip like two
We're
events.
yeah, we're no Father Hill or
Father Hell.
Sorry.
No, I think
Sorry.
it's got to be Father Hell. But I don't know.
I
People
like
decide in the comments. Reply and let us know Father Hell or Sohari.
Sorry.
But
So I just have a couple more questions
oh
and then
shoot,
I'll let you go. But when can people start usually signing up to go on the cruise? Do you remember? It's because you
well
have, as a previous cruiser, you get to do it before everyone else, right?
yeah,
Like you
and
have first dibs,
they
right?
give you a discount if you sign up while you're still on the boat to when they're
Oh,
like
okay, that's
it's a
rad.
smart marketing move.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was told that it was already 50% booked, but it will be open to the public. I think March 10th or 12th.
Oh, it's coming right up. That's
So
coming right
yeah,
up.
some point next week it'll be open to other people to be able to book rooms and like the cheapo rooms on there. I think if you're like a new customer, it's like $2,000 a person. But if you book like a whole room to yourself, you got to pay more.
Yeah, it's true. Like I didn't get
But then
I didn't
if you go another year, if you go like another year, you'll get like the returning customer discount, I guess. So
oh, that's pretty rad. I think that's It's worth it to get in the door, so you can keep doing it. Now, if you miss a year, like if you miss next year, do you get back to square one, Fatheree, on that?
Um, no, I think I still get a past customer discount. I just don't get as big of a discount as I get if I booked like on the ship.
On the cruise.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Have you done that? So in the past, you've done the booking right on the cruise, I guess, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. And then the other question, which I was dying to ask you, which we didn't ask during the thing, was what, like, any nuggets about Discovery season 5 that you learned, like, while you were on the cruise? Did they drop any like hints or anything
Um,
about it, or did the cast talk about it? Or I guess they're gonna probably save most of that discussion for after the
they're
season
pretty
airs. Yeah.
excited for it. It sounds like they
Yeah.
had like a lot of fun in the season, and they and Eve Harlow is so excited to be part of the Star Trek franchise, and you can tell like she has so much stuff like she wants to like say and do. It just can't because like we don't know her yet. We don't know her character yet. But it's like she's so excited to get to like, oh, I get to do this the rest of my life. I get to go to Star Trek conventions and hang out with like you cool, beautiful people. And even though like y'all don't know anything about me yet, but I'm glad to be learning about all of you and getting to meet you. So it was
she's
fun to see that.
She's part of this new duo that we see in the trailer. She's like
Yeah,
they're the
the
same
Bonnie
as
and
Booker.
Clyde.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're like what is he called? Couriers, right? That's what they're
Yeah, the
called. Yeah,
couriers.
couriers.
They're
That's
like
very
ex
cool.
couriers. But
Very cool.
we can talk about that in a trailer breakdown at some
Absolutely.
point maybe.
Well, this was so much fun, Father.
I feel
Thanks
like
for
I have to
inviting
do it
me.
if I'm going to the premiere Monday. I have to do a trailer breakdown before then, right? So
Yeah, you do have
I
to do
can't
it.
do a trailer breakdown after I've seen
Why did you do it this Friday on Tex-Trek?
because we're doing. I'm so glad you asked, Sohel. This week on Tex-Trek, I'm going to be sitting down with Dave and hopefully someone else,
A special guest, yeah.
and we'll be discussing Star Trek Discovery season 4.
Season
And it's an
4.
entire because we never did like a season 4 retrospective in 2022, and it's been a while. So I think before season 5, people might appreciate a season 4 refresher.
I
So
think that's a good idea, yeah. The good old um species, what were they called? 10C.
Species 10C.
That's
And then
right.
if everything goes well Monday, I'll be able to report back next week.
Very cool. I'm so excited for you. That's really neat.
And
Excellent.
we'll have more stuff on the road to Discovery, but yeah, like Tex-Trek is gonna be Discovery focused for like the next 3 months. So and for the last time ever, I guess. So this is it. This is the end.
Well, yeah, until they get their film, they sign their film contracts and then they start doing movies. But I'm calling it on Starfleet Sohail. We're calling it The Last Days of Disco because that's what it is.
Well, we'll have to party it up. But yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
some fun stuff on the horizon. But we'll go ahead and call it a day then. But people follow Starfleet Sohail. Y'all know how to find them, and follow me, and come back and like and subscribe. And until next time, as always,
Live long
live
and
long and
prosper,
prosper,
y'all.
y'all.